Yesterday's stream, we sort of finished the case, and he was acquitted. James Tobin, the defendant, was acquitted on both charges of grand theft and murder. So that was a failure, otherwise known as a death, because we failed to get a conviction. So right now we're now doing run number 2. And I think we're just about to wrap up the pre-trial interviews with the witnesses. So we've been kind of save scumming those to make sure that we get A, the most amount of information that we can from the witnesses, B, that we are also on good terms with them so that they don't then go ahead and perjure themselves in court, which is what occurred to us the last time. So we're kind of learning from our mistakes the first time. It may not be, it turns out we may have to do it a third time. We'll see how it goes. But we'll at least find out what our weaknesses are. The good nice thing about the game is that, like, based on the TV legal analysis, they sort of let you know where your weaknesses are in your case. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I said we haven't done Hilk's DOS decision vote yet, Akago, because we're just waiting for him to be present for that. Double Jeopardy. Oh no, never, Rex. This is the way you get through things. Saves coming. I have no shame about saves coming. None whatsoever. Because think about how long it would take. Because well, in some cases it's very clear from the dialogue options what's going to be good versus not. That's not always necessarily true. Like, what killed me the first run is I said there was a choice between following up on, like, or asking, like, a bad line of questioning versus asking more questions. And I asked more questions, and then I thought I was going to ask more questions on that topic, but instead he just jumped to a different topic and it ghosted out that topic entirely. So I didn't have any more information about it, so it sucked. So, like, it's a little misleading, and it would take us years, probably in excess of, I don't know, 20 runs, I would guess, if we did not do any saves coming. Alright, I think we left off with Ruby 2. Yeah, that was the third witness, and I think we were... Let's see. We'll start the timer here. Are you sure this was? Maybe it was not Ruby. Hang on. It might have been Ruby 1. I think we got through at least heart theft and gun. No? Oh, I thought I had done an earlier save. Okay. Not a big deal because we can, we know what the, yeah, I was unclear whether we wanted to do Where's Tobin or not. So let's pick it up with the gun. We'll do Zach have a gun.
Do you know if Zach owned a gun?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like something he'd have.
Okay, then reveal who owns the gun.
You might be relieved to hear the gun that killed Zachary Barnes was registered to his cousin.
The gun came from Zach's cousin?
Wait, is she from Flashdance? Is it the same actress? Wasn't, like, Flashdance like more than like 10 years before this? Because this game came out in 95. Wasn't Flashdance like 84 or something? Maybe I'm confusing it. Alright, why are you surprised?
I thought you'd be relieved, but you sound surprised.
I am relieved, I guess. It's just... Well, I went into Jimmy's cabinet the night before Zach died, and, well, this whole thing is just so confusing.
Yeah, the ambient noise is quite prominent for Short Village. Alright, ask for more information.
Think back and see if you can remember what you saw.
Upstairs, in Jimmy's work cabinet, next to the brushes on the middle shelf, I thought I saw something. A gun.
A gun? Well, where is this work cabinet? In the gallery?
No, upstairs in me and Jimmy's loft, in the painting studio.
When did you see it?
The night before Zach's death.
Could you identify that gun if you saw it?
I think so.
Okay, so we're done with gun. Oh, she just looks like she belongs. Yeah. We've had a number of good comments about fashion choices in the game. All right, so let's get that save in there. It was pretty clear that that was the right line of questioning for the gun. All right, let's move on to Zach. All right, so let's hear the two options here.
Yvonne claims Jimmy enjoyed making life difficult for Zachary. Is that the case? Did people like Zachary Barnes?
Okay, this is more direct, so probably less likely to be successful, but in the event it is successful, it'd obviously be very successful. So let's see. I don't think she's going to respond well to this.
Yvonne claims Jimmy enjoyed making life difficult for Zachary. Is that the case?
That's ridiculous. Zach could be really off the wall sometimes. Yvonne would buy anything he said. The truth is, Jimmy's a great painter, and that's the reason the gallery became such a big success. And that annoyed Zach.
Interesting. Shit, what was the name of that thing we chose? I guess. Tobin hate, we'll call it. Forgot what the question was. Alright, did you sleep with Zach? Or did you...
Ruby, did you have an affair with Zach? Did Zach help your career? Ruby, did you have an affair with Zach?
No. Well, the truth is, he invited me over to the loft when Yvonne wasn't going to be there, supposedly to talk about my career or something. We were alone, looking at some of my drawings, and he came on to me. Be pretty aggressive after he's had a few drinks. I should have known better, but I gave in to him.
Well, we know that they shtupped. She gave a different account, sort of more willing. I don't think that's the best one, to be honest.
I don't think that's what Yvonne would say.
Yeah, exactly.
But didn't Zach take a genuine interest in your career as an artist?
Yeah, sort of. Once he even said I had more talent than Jimmy, but it's like Jimmy said, he was just trying to flatter me so he could jump my bones.
Jump my bones. Yeah, I don't think this is a good line of questioning at all, but...
Given what happened later, do you have any regrets about what went on between you and Zach? You had a certain affection for Zach, didn't you?
What happened between me and Zach was a big mistake. It left a real bad taste in my mouth, and not just because of the tequila.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
I see now that Zach was just using me as a weapon to beat up on Jimmy.
I'm surprised this line of questioning is going as far as it is.
Did Jimmy ever find out about the affair? Sounds like Jimmy was telling you a lot of stuff. Did Jimmy ever find out about the affair?
Zachary wrote me a long note after we'd slept together. Jimmy caught me reading it. Sometimes I can be so stupid.
What was in the note?
I don't really know. I only got to read the beginning because Jimmy snatched it away.
Okay.
Did Jimmy hit you when he saw what was in the note? What did Jimmy say about the note? Did Jimmy hit you when he saw what was in the note?
I know what you're doing. It's your job to make Jimmy look bad.
No, it's my job to look for the truth.
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't think I want to talk about this with you anymore.
Alright, so the questioning died there because we were a little bit too aggressive. That's fine. I wanted to try a different line of inquiry anyway. Let's restore. Let's go with Zach Popular.
Did people like Zachary Barnes?
Yeah, everybody pretty much liked him. I think his personality was a big reason for the success of the gallery. Everybody just liked to hang around him and listen to him tell jokes.
Was he a good joke teller?
No, not really. They were always too corny. You want to hear a favorite?
Oh god.
What did the snail say riding on the turtle's back?
I give up.
Whee!
So that's actually kind of a better start in the sense that she's attributing the success of the gallery more to Zach, who's the victim, rather than James, who's the killer. So it's probably better because it's establishing more of a motive for Jimmy to kill him.
Would you say you were fond of Zachary?
That's probably a good one.
Did Zach ever take an interest in your work? Were the two of you more than just friends?
See, that's a little bit... I think we said let's establish the fondness first.
Would you say you were fond of Zachary?
Yeah, I thought he was a pretty okay guy.
Did he like you?
What were his feelings for you? If I may ask, did you ever have any special feelings for Zach? What were his feelings for you?
Actually, one day I went over to Zachary's loft. I think we were supposed to be talking about me having a show or something. I was lonely because Jimmy was working around the clock. And Zach and I had a few drinks. One thing led to another, but it was no big deal.
Alright, so it's kind of like, it's sort of the same. This one is a little bit better, I think, relative to our first line of questioning because, again, she's attributing success of the gallery to Zach.
So Ruby sounds to me like maybe you were the aggressor.
No, that's not gonna work out.
Given what happened to Zach, do you feel getting involved with him was a mistake?
This is really hard for me to talk about. Jimmy is not a perfect person, but that didn't make it right for me to go and sleep with his partner. It's just like my mom used to say, I'm only always thinking of myself. If it hadn't been for me, none of this would have happened. Zach would still be alive. Jimmy wouldn't hate me. As a matter of fact, he wouldn't even be in jail. And Yvonne would still have a husband.
Okay, definitely it's not her fault, I think.
Ruby, it's ridiculous to blame yourself for everything that's happened. I suppose you're right. You must have really wanted Zach.
How's that gonna be helpful?
Ruby, it's ridiculous to blame yourself for everything that's happened.
Thanks. It's hard.
Okay.
But I see your point. Maybe you loved Zach so much you lost control. Did Jimmy ever find out about the affair?
That's what we want.
Zachary wrote me a long note after we'd slept together. Jimmy caught me reading it. Sometimes I can be so stupid.
What was in the note?
I don't really know. I only got to read the beginning because Jimmy snatched it away.
It is good. Is the other component we want. By the way, let's check our notes from the trial. Is there anything that we were weak on with? Oh, the gun. Well, okay, yeah, we did that part this time, so that's fine. I think we're okay on these. Okay.
Jimmy must have been really furious. Snatched it, so you never got to see what was in the note?
Okay, either of these is good. Let's do a Ruby 3 save. We do want to establish the domestic violence aspect of this, that Tobin hit her. So blow up could be good for that, but the note is also probably important, so both of these would probably be good. Let's try blow up first, though.
Jimmy must have been really furious.
Yeah, but after all, I was cheating on him.
Okay, that one's not so good.
Did he hit you?
He didn't hurt me.
But he did hit you.
What did Jimmy say about the note? He has no right to abuse you, Ruby.
I know what you're doing. It's your job to make Jimmy look bad.
That did not
No,
work
it's
then.
my job to look for the truth.
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't think I want to talk about this with you anymore.
Okay, so we gotta try a different approach here. Okay, let's try, did you ever read the note?
Snatched it, so you never got to see what was in the note?
Yeah. Jimmy never let me see it, and I never got to talk to Zach about the note because he died before I could. Jimmy said the only reason he was ever friends with me was so he can get in my pants, but he was never like that. He was so nice to me. So was Yvonne. They were the only ones who ever encouraged me. Ever. Nobody wanted me to be an artist. Not my family, not Jimmy, nobody. But he
good.
said my paintings were good, and he was going to help me get a show.
That's right, you don't want to be with Jimmy. Oh, interesting. Okay, it ends there. I do want to try one more thing, though, if we go back. Let's try the blow up.
Jimmy must have been real.
And then instead of questioning actions, what did Tobin say?
What did Jimmy say about the note?
Nothing.
Really?
Well, he said something nasty like, the only reason Zach ever paid me any attention was because he wanted to get busy with me.
Jump your bones. Oh, okay, so it goes on.
Ruby, don't you see Jimmy had his reasons for saying that? Ruby, don't you think you have more to offer than that?
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay, we'll try one more with the other option, but I think we know which one we want. Blow up. What did he say? You understand his motive.
Ruby, don't you see Jimmy had his reasons for saying that?
I know what you're doing. It's your job to make...
Yeah, okay. So we do want the tearful support of Jimmy. That, because again, the important part about doing this is not only it puts her emotionally toward Zach and away from Jimmy, which makes her more likely to testify against him in court. So that's good. Never read the note.
Snatched it, so you never got to see what was in the note?
Yeah. Jimmy never let me see it, and I...
Okay. All right, so that's good. So the one question now we have, let's do another save. Ruby 3. So the art theft. The question is, let's go back to this. Do we want to... We're not sure whether Where's Tobin is good or not. Let's listen to this again. What was the question? That doesn't matter.
Ruby, can you tell me where Jimmy was the night the paintings were stolen?
No, not really.
Are you sure?
Yes. Didn't you hear me?
That's actually probably
What do
fine.
you think the chances are that Jimmy will go to jail?
It's hard to say. A lot depends on what you say on the stand.
That's actually probably fine because if she can't account for his whereabouts, then he doesn't have the alibi as much. And then if we combine that with what Simon says, which placed him, he said, "Oh yeah, I saw him taking out the paintings with the razor blade." That's probably okay. So I guess we'll save that over Ruby. The one thing we didn't do was Simon. So let's go back. Let's check out Simon, whether or not we wanted to complete that interview or not. There were two different things, the art theft and the gun. So art theft.
Simon, did James Tobin ever give you anything in return for your silence?
And we kind of wanted this to be the case, but he didn't respond well to this. What was the issue?
Look, I told you what I saw that night in the gallery. Isn't that enough?
No.
Well, that's all you're gonna get.
Yeah, that's not very good. All right, gun. Confessor involved.
I've had enough, Simon. You helped Tobin plan the murder, didn't you?
You crazy?
If you don't tell me what you know,
I had nothing to do with it.
Well, we'll see.
Right. You can't even convict Tobin.
You don't think, huh?
No, I might be dumb in some ways, but Tobin's smart.
Well, I'm pretty smart, too.
Yeah? But he's an artist, and you're just a lawyer.
Hey, how's it going, Bagel?
That's all I have now, Simon. I just hope you get this all sorted out by the time you're called to testify.
Gabo, thanks very much for the host. And yeah, so Bagel, yeah, that list will give you the sort of the full master list as well as the games we finished and the ones that are upcoming. I don't know, Gabo. I can't account for myself. Yeah, it was very confusing, but yeah, that's a very weird line of dialogue, for sure. All right, the gun, it could be a confess.
There's a good chance before this thing's over, Tobin will tell us the whole story. What'll you do then?
I don't know.
It's probably okay. I mean, It's probably all right. Definitely not the other one, but maybe confess is okay. So we'll put a question mark on that. But then the only question is the art theft.
Simon, did James Tobin ever give you anything in return for your silence?
And he says that's all you're going to get. I mean, he's not going to admit to it, right? Unless we went to some other line of questioning. I'm guessing, though, the game would not have you just leave open and go to trial with that unopened. So let's just ask it, even though it doesn't really help us necessarily.
Look, I told you what I saw that night in the gallery. Isn't that enough?
No.
Well, that's all you're gonna get.
I mean, also opens, I think we tried.
That's all I have now, Simon. I just hope you get this all sorted out by the time you're called to testify.
Hey, I can't wait.
There's actually an interesting piece about how Michael Cohen went to the what's rated, at least, as the worst law school in the United States. Worst school in the country. The worst game I've played. There haven't been too many, 3 or 4 that I gave ones to, but I'm rating the games not necessarily. It's a combination of how good I thought the games were, as well as how much I enjoyed them. Because sometimes I enjoy games that objectively aren't very good, and vice versa. So probably Ninja Nanny that's objectively the worst game, and even though there was some amusement factor early, it really wore out its welcome. And I did not enjoy it very much at all, even though you think that sort of game you would. In fact, I was hoping to. So probably Ninja Nanny is the worst, from kind of both enjoyment level and like quality of game. Because if you actually have to play that thing the whole way through and read the entire story, it's just really tedious and doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's worse than Twinsen. Worse than Twinsen. I mean, Twinsen caused more rage, but objectively, Twinsen was a better game. And in fact, they fixed a lot of the problems with Twinsen for the PlayStation version. But of course, I have to rate the DOS version, which was the original version, which had suffered from some pretty significant design issues. All right. I did want to go back just to Simon. Do we have a Simon save which has the full art theft? No, not Simon 2. What about Simon 1? No. Okay, so we can't... Actually, we could go to pre-witnesses. Hang on. I just want to see if there was a better Simon art theft sequence. I think we tried that. I just want to make sure before we go to trial.
Simon, did you stop by the Barnes? I noticed out front.
Okay, I think we...
Zach paid you to steal Tobin's on the night of the theft.
All right, Tobin's caller accused him of theft. Yeah, the theft didn't want to work.
I just picked...
Okay, yeah, I think that's the best we can do with that tree. All right, so let's go back to... I guess it was Ruby, and then just finish up Simon. And then we'll get another pre-trial save. So, gun was confess.
There's a good...
Art theft this.
Simon.
Okay. Done. Alright, so let's save here as pre-trial. We're going to go to trial now. Yeah, I'm really... we've played the first 2 Bagel. I'm really looking forward to Gabriel Knight 3. What was it? Blood of the Sacred, Blood of the Damned. Unfortunately, it's a Windows game. So it has been a candidate in the past for some Windows specials that we do that are not part of the challenge. And I think it once finished maybe 2nd or 3rd. Can't remember. But yeah, I'm hoping. I'd love to play the 3rd one. Even though I know the 3D nature of it is considered controversial. Yeah, it was kind of a book, but it didn't even make sense. It was just so random, and even the narrative of the story itself was just all over the place, and just was not neither was well written, nor from a narrative standpoint did it make sense. bad. Yeah, the Tim Curry. I'm interested in that too. And I'm also interested in Curse of Monkey Island as well, the third Monkey Island game. Since I'm also 100% blind on that one too. All right, so let's try going to trial. I think we're in a much better position than we were the first the first time around. So we'll say this is
Hello.
Hello, is this Mr. Granger?
Yes? Who is
I
this,
just
please?
visited Jimmy in jail and we had a long talk. I see now that he's been telling me the truth all along about what a son of a bitch Zach was.
Ruby,
What?
just try to calm down. Exactly.
Say you used against us.
Ruby, all I ask of you in court is that you tell the truth.
Truth? What the hell is truth? All you lawyers know how to do is twist the truth and turn it into lies. Why can't everybody just leave us alone?
so she turned against us. Couple thoughts on that.
Hello.
This is Yvonne Barnes. With whom am I speaking, please?
Granger here. Hello, Miss Barnes. How are you?
Mr. Granger, regarding our interview.
Yes?
I've wanted to call and say I felt badly about it in that I don't think I was entirely forthcoming.
Really? Forthcoming about what?
Let's just leave it at that. You have to understand how difficult this has been for me on so many levels. I just want to lend you my support and let you know I am prepared to do my best in court.
Well, thank you very much.
Goodbye, Mr. Granger.
Bye.
Question is whether those are scripted or we had
Frank,
control
how's
of
Tobin
those.
fared these last few months in jail?
As you know, the defendant has not been allowed any contact with the press, but his attorney said he's doing well and is also anxious to clear his good name and get on with his life.
And can you characterize the mood of the prosecution?
Laura, with the trial beginning
Walter, thank
tomorrow,
you for that.
Granger and his staff are of course projecting confidence, but Granger would not comment on record about his chances of getting a first-degree murder conviction.
Frank, you'll be covering the whole trial for us, right?
You bet, Laura. Camped out at City Hall for as long as it takes.
Well, good luck. Channel 2 will be providing the most extensive coverage of the trial. We'll have live reports from the courtroom and expert analysis of each day's events, so stay tuned. Coming up now, can't figure out what to do with those little plastic clips that come on bread bags? Stephanie Chu will tell us about a recycling program in the East Bay when we come back.
Yeah, okay, another call.
Hello.
Hi, Mr. Granger. This is Frank Somerville. I'm covering the trial for Channel 2. I know you don't want to make a public statement, but I was wondering if you'd care to comment. It'll be entirely off the record on what you think your chances are on the murder charge.
Okay, so before we do this, so with Ruby changing, either one of two things. Either that was because, you know, we made a mistake with the interview, so she was more susceptible to getting turned back by Jimmy, or just happens regardless. I think it's probably, I'm going to assume it happens regardless, which means we have to treat her as more of a hostile witness in court, which means I'd rather save her for last, because if I get enough evidence already from the other two witnesses, Simon and Yvonne, we could more like paint her into a corner based on those facts with the jury. So I think I'm going to handle her last. And this is also kind of from Yvonne. It's sort of a curveball, but whatever. Just like we save scum the pre-trial interviews, we'll also have to save scum the, in-court line of questioning. Just the way it's going to have to go. So as far as predicting the verdict, let's go confident. Let's go. We're going to say we're going to get first degree.
Frank, I'm happy to tell you that I'm supremely confident we'll win this case. We'll get a verdict in the first degree. Or I'll buy you and Laura dinner.
That's chutzpah. I wish you luck tomorrow. See ya.
Chutzpah. I do like all the Yiddishisms that are being thrown in here.
This case was commenced by the people of the state of California against the defendant, James Henry Tobin. The state is charging him with grand theft and murder in the first degree.
He's off the record, Gabo, off the
The
record.
defendant has pleaded not guilty to each charge. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, The defendant is presumed innocent until the contrary is proved. But the effect of this is only to place upon the state the burden of proving him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You will decide no issue in this case until you have heard all of the evidence, instructions of law, and the arguments. And you are ordered not to discuss this case with anyone under any conditions. You will now hear the statements of counsel. Do the people wish to make any opening statement?
Even so. I went no comment the first time around because I had exactly that line of thinking, Gabo. And then the reporter mocked me afterwards, even though it was off the record. He said in his report after the trial was over, he's like, we even refused to talk to me about the trial, as if that was a bad thing. I'm like, dude, the prosecution should not be making really comments to the press, aside from, you know, maybe in a press conference, just saying like, hey, here's what, you know, public should be, like a very controlled thing, not just an off the record casual phone conversation. All right, so do we feel we have enough evidence for cover up? I mean, look, I think we should emphasize both because, I mean, we saved Scum the conversations, and clearly he's supposed to be guilty of both. So I think we should emphasize both of them. The sexual jealousy is the other one. The only thing is she kind of turned against us. I don't know if we proved that he was jealous. Well, we do have Simon saying he was pissed. And he did snatch it from Ruby, the letter. And then she was tearful, but then she kind of turned against us. So that, you know, maybe we emphasize the cover-up, but jealousy we mentioned. I think that's what we did the first time around. We have to at least mention it. Let's just do emphasize both. I don't know. Alright, my ego didn't get hurt. I'm just saying it. Clearly doing no comment didn't really work out. So I have to consider alternatives. I'm going the opposite way now. Being confident. Since not being confident did not work. Let's just emphasize both. We can always, again, try a different tact later.
Ladies and gentlemen, on March 16th of this year, James Tobin shot his business partner to death. No one, not even the defendant, disputes this fact. They will claim self-defense. But the people will show you how Mr. Tobin lured his partner to the gallery that morning. His pretense? To salvage their business. But such was not James Tobin's intention, because as he walked into the gallery that day, he had a gun in his pocket, an alibi on his mind, and murder in his heart. If not self-defense, what motive? Pride, greed, fear. Pride in his disbelief that his career was stumbling. Greed in his theft of his own paintings for the insurance. Zachary Barnes, caught between his loyalty to his business partner and his belief in the truth, had asked James Tobin to withdraw the fraudulent claim, and fear in that he'd be exposed. So, James Tobin decided to murder Zachary Barnes.
What is he doing?
That, ladies and gentlemen, is indeed intent to kill. And there was yet another motive. James Tobin discovered his girlfriend was sleeping with the deceased, an aging man, a beautiful young woman, oldest motive in the world, sexual jealousy. He flew into a rage. He beat her, and then with the cold, calculating mind of a desperate man, began plotting to kill her lover, the late Zachary Barnes. In all my years as a prosecutor, I have never before been in a situation.
I don't like the way we brought up the sexual jealousy, to be honest. Don't touch me, sweetie. There are multiple endings. Absolutely. We already got the worst ending where we didn't get any convictions.
We have here tonight our legal specialist who, for the duration of the trial, will be sharing with us his professional insights. Dr. Richard Fleece, professor of law at CSU. Dr. Fleece.
The anxiously awaited trial began today with a dramatic opening statement by the prosecution and then followed by what I thought was an effective rebuttal from the defense attorney, Cynthia Charleston.
Can you tell us a little bit about her?
Mr. Tobin is in very
It wasn't?
hands.
Wow.
Cynthia Charleston is seen by many as an unflinching and extremely aggressive adversary. She's won innumerable defense cases, including the famous tainted baby food trial. Just a few moments ago, we caught up with her and asked her how she felt about her chances.
Ultimately, the jury will find my client innocent. This case should never have come to trial, but now, with all the publicity, they don't dare turn back.
Tomorrow, the main phase of the trial begins with the prosecution calling its first witness.
Thank you, and we look forward to your coming analysis. Stay tuned to Channel 2 News, your trial headquarters.
So that was kind of the same clip that we saw the first time.
Good morning. Will the prosecution please call its first witness?
I'm starting to think because maybe the correct thing to do is the art motive is really the predominant factor, and the sexual jealousy, maybe there's no way to actually prove that based on the evidence and the line of questioning. So we'll see how we'll play this out, but I'm starting to think it's quite possible that you have to emphasize the art theft cover-up, and then don't mention at all sexual jealousy. It's possible, because I don't think we got enough information to really... We have enough information to suggest that it was a contributing factor, but I don't know if we can necessarily prove it. Hey, not call. Oh, wow. Came in late. Yeah. Is it an email notification? All right, so let's start with Yvonne, who's our most friendly witness. The problem with her is... Let's do another save here. Oops. Actually, we'll do we'll do trial witnesses save for that. Issue with Yvonne was she has this curveball.
Please raise your right hand.
She wasn't forthcoming.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Was it misleading or something?
I do.
Please be seated.
All right, so we'll start with art theft here. I made this note here. I don't think we did enough based on the opening statement that Tobin arranged that meeting to talk about the business with Barnes. I don't think we did enough with that. Anyway, we'll see. So art theft is first. Oh, browser notification. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know how those work. I'm not signed up for them myself. Oh, I think when it comes on the top right. Are they normally they're normally faster, right?
Did you witness an argument between your husband and the defendant Tuesday before the murder?
Yes. I walked into the gallery and Tobin was yelling at my husband. There was a wooden chair broken between them.
What did James Tobin say to your husband?
He was yelling, "If you go public with this insurance fraud, it'll be the end of the gallery." Zach responded, "The gallery will survive." And Tobin moved forward and pointed his finger in his face and yelled, "The gallery may survive, but you won't."
And then?
I stepped between them. I wanted to get Zach out of there.
Okay. Yeah, we're going for obviously I hope that would be the best ending, which is conviction on murder in the first degree and grand theft. We talked about it before we started the game, but our win condition for the purpose of the challenge is going to be just getting him on murder in the first degree, with the art theft kind of being optional. Even though it seems to be more central to the case, honestly. Hey, how's it going, Ambersy? So because the game is called In the First Degree, that's what we're really striving for. The art theft is just the bonus. All right. So let's get a Yvonne save here. I guess we'll do... Oh, it's too long. Hey, Knox. All right. Let's see the different options here.
Ms. Barnes, wasn't your husband a co-beneficiary in the policy that covered the paintings?
He was, but maybe she can counteract that, or will she go hostile? That'll be the question.
Was the gallery alarm system functioning at the time of the theft? Do you have any idea why the defendant might have threatened your husband's life?
That seems like a natural follow-up. Let's go with the motive first.
Objection, speculative and conclusory.
Question withdrawn.
Nope, that did not
Ms.
work.
Barnes, did you and your husband ever discuss the argument you just described?
Yes, that evening when we returned home.
What, if anything, did your husband say about the theft of the paintings?
He said that Tobin himself had arranged for the paintings to be stolen so he could collect on the insurance.
Did your husband say he was going to the authorities with this information?
Yes.
Did he ever tell you if he made his intentions clear to the defendant?
Yes. He said that's what started the argument.
Yeah, the problem the last time we had was the insurance money issue. So let's quickly try the other. I want to see, instead of motive, we went with the insurance part. Let's do Zach's rule.
Ms. Barnes, wasn't your husband a co-beneficiary in the policy that covered the paintings?
Yes.
What was the amount of money he was due to receive?
I'm not sure, but I resent this line of questioning.
Ms. Barnes, please.
All that's left is his good name. Now you want to ruin that?
I'll withdraw the question.
All right, so yeah, that did not go well, but we still need to, well, let's actually try our finances.
Was the gallery a financial success?
Oh, absolutely. It was one of the most successful small galleries on the West Coast.
Had it been profitable recently?
No.
Why?
James Tobin, completely against everyone's advice, changed his style of painting. His last show didn't sell well, and that created a cash flow problem for Zachary.
Wasn't this crisis so serious that your late husband feared losing the business?
I suppose.
Interesting. Is this Tobin's motive the same?
According to the insurance policy, what was the dollar amount to be paid to the defendant if the paintings were damaged or stolen?
I'm not sure, about $200,000.
When your late husband threatened to expose the fraud, did he tell you how Tobin responded?
Yes, Tobin accused Zach of trying to destroy his career.
Ms. Barnes, do you feel that in order to protect his career, Tobin would kill his
Objection! Yes, I do. He would.
Objection sustained.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Mr. Granger, do not make a fool of me.
Okay, that did not go well. Okay, let's go back. So the other one we haven't tried is, well, we did the alarm system, but I think you can do that later. So let's clarify the motive.
Do you have any...
We'll see. Okay, we still have the alarm system available.
According to the insurance policy, what was the dollar amount to be paid to the defendant if the paintings were damaged or stolen?
Wait, isn't this the one that gets us in trouble, though? Yes. Okay, so don't follow up on the motive. All right, so go from, we'll try Tobin's motive alarm system.
Do you have any idea why the defendant might have... Was the gallery alarm system functioning at the time of the theft?
No, it had been turned off.
At whose direction?
James Tobin's.
Did the defendant give you a reason?
Yes. He said it had been going off sporadically without warning. He said we should turn it off until we could get it fixed.
Was it ever checked out?
Oh yes, immediately after the theft I called. The repair woman said she had worked on it and couldn't get it to malfunction once. I still have her paperwork.
Well, the follow-up, that's the same thing. It doesn't look like we have great options here, so maybe we didn't do a good job with the pre-trial interview, I don't know.
According to the insurance policy, what was the dollar amount to be paid to the defendant if the paintings were damaged or stolen?
I'm not sure, about $200,000.
When your late husband threatened to expose the fraud, did he tell you how Tobin responded?
Yes, Tobin accused Zach of trying to destroy his career.
Ms. Barnes, do you feel that in order to protect his career, Tobin would kill his
Objection! Yes, I do. He would.
Objection.
Yeah, so that doesn't work out well. What if we start with the alarm system?
Was the gallery alarm system functioning at the time of the theft?
No, it had been turned off.
At whose direction?
James Tobin's.
Did the defendant give you a reason?
Yes. He said it had been going off sporadically without warning.
It's the same thing. Okay, so the alarm system just seems like, yeah, that's just a good thing to have, but it doesn't seem like it matters. The order, I mean.
Ms. Barnes, wasn't your husband a co-beneficiary in the policy that covered the paintings?
That pisses her off. Man, it really doesn't seem like we have a great option.
Do you have any idea why the defendant might have threatened your husband's life?
All right, let's leave this for now. We'll come back to this. I don't know whether the options change depending, like, if we start with crime scene, then do we unlock a new option in art theft? Like, I don't know.
On the morning of March 13th at approximately 9 a.m., you and Ms. Garcia left the gallery to go to a meeting, is that correct?
Yes.
And the two of you returned early because the meeting was canceled?
Postponed, correct.
And Ms. Garcia dropped you off and went to park the car?
Yes, I was about a block away in the alley behind the gallery.
Please describe for the jury what you saw at that point.
I saw James Tobin outside the back door of the gallery jimmying it with a crowbar. He saw me coming, so he went back in.
Objection, speculation.
Sustained.
Could you see what he was wearing?
Yes, he was wearing a black t-shirt with the gallery logo on back.
Okay.
In your initial interview, you told Inspector Looper that Tobin also had a yellow bundle. Can you tell me what that bundle actually was? What happened next?
Well, we definitely got better with the shirt with this interview before, so maybe she'll be able to say what the shirt was. Or it could be, like, too speculative. Let's see.
In your initial interview, you told Inspector Looper that Tobin also had a yellow bundle. Can you tell me what that bundle actually was?
I'm out of patience, Mr. Granger.
No, damn.
Limit your questions to what the witness saw. The jury will draw the conclusions.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. We want to follow up.
On the morning of... What happened next?
I heard a shot from inside as I came to the door, so I unlocked it and went inside.
What did you see there?
My husband's body lying crumpled on the ground. Tobin lying nearby holding his leg and moaning.
And what was the physical state of the gallery?
The tabletop had been broken. There were shards of glass everywhere. Some of them lying in the pool of my husband's blood. And I remember a cash box lying upside down on the floor.
What did you do?
I tried to help my husband, then called 911.
Murmur. Cash box.
Do you know how the cash box got on the floor? Did the defendant explain what happened?
How would she know about the cash box, though? That's weird. That's probably about the struggle. The defendant explaining her doesn't seem like... Why would he explain anything? Let's go with cash box.
Do you know how the cash box got on the floor?
Yes, Tobin must have put it there to make it look like there was...
Objection, this is ridiculous.
Once again, I must admonish the witness to limit her testimony to things actually observed.
Okay, yeah, that did not work out well. Don't ask about the cash box. Okay, story.
Did the defendant explain what happened?
Yes. As soon as I opened the door and saw Zach, Tobin started explaining about the fight he and Zach had had, about how the table got broken and how he got shot.
Did he explain why the cash box was on the floor?
No, he couldn't explain that. It didn't fit in with his new fight story. It was left over from his attempt to fake the break-in.
I mean, there's not much... It's very short. I'm surprised that so few questions on the crime scene. You really only have... That's really it. Like, it can't go better than that. So we must not have done a good job in the pretrial interview. That's my conclusion there. All right, let's ask about the gun. And so quickly. I mean, it puts the onus on Tobin to explain what happened, but I don't think he even gets called as a witness.
Miss Barnes, did you have knowledge of any firearms kept on the premises of the Barnes Gallery?
Yes, the one that killed my husband.
Was this your gun?
No, I borrowed it from my husband's cousin, Daryl. A Vietnamese woman across the way was attacked, and I felt I needed it for protection.
Yeah,
Did you discuss this with your husband?
Yes, he became quite upset and insisted that we take it down to the gallery for safekeeping.
Did he tell you where he put it?
Yes, in his office desk in a drawer.
Okay, that's fine. The other options are here.
Could you explain again why you felt it necessary to borrow a gun? If it pleases the court, I would like to read a few lines from Inspector Looper's interrogation of the defendant, Mr. Tobin, conducted on the afternoon of the murder.
Could be promising.
Do you understand what's at stake in this trial?
That seems to like challenge her unnecessarily. Yes, I am using the low latency. Indeed. I hope it's low on your end. Yeah, there's a ton of alternative paths. Does that mean there are a ton of endings? Pagel? Hey, Arctic. How's it going? Good morning. The transcript sounds like it could be interesting. Let's go with that. Although, what's the story again?
Could you explain again why you felt it necessary to borrow a gun?
I think it's less about her reasons for getting the gun. It's more so about establishing that Tobin took the gun. So let's go with transcript.
If it pleases the court, I would like to read a few lines from Inspector Looper's interrogation of the defendant, Mr. Tobin, conducted on the afternoon of the murder.
The defense objects. How is this possibly relevant?
Your Honor, it reflects on the witness's understanding of the significance of the line of questioning and therefore her motive to tell the truth.
All right, objection overruled.
I read from page 15 of the transcript wherein the defendant says, quote, Zach had a scheme going with the art insurance. He was trying to get me to go along, but I wouldn't. So he was afraid he'd lose his little gallery and have to rely 100% on his wife's career. Ultimately, he was a real loser. I'm telling you, Zach brought the gun. Zach tried to kill me in cold blood. Unquote.
Okay, now we can say more of the story.
Could you explain again why you felt it necessary to borrow a gun? Do you understand what's at stake in this trial?
Okay, it's freaky. Yeah, I can understand that. Okay. It's a good thing, though. It's a good thing. Brave new world we have to get used to. Okay, so standard endings, but yeah, there's a lot of there are a lot of pitfalls. That's why I have to save scum this, because if we didn't save scum this, like, and you just went through everything, like, because there are so many interviews and you can so easily get trapped and it's not very clear. In some cases, it's very clear what a bad choice is, but in many cases, it's a little unforeseen. So it's pretty much necessary. Let's go more of the story.
Could you explain again why you felt it necessary to borrow a gun?
I was terrified by the amount of crime in this city. I got frightened and acted irrationally. Believe me, I regret it now. But hindsight is 20/20.
All right, see it again.
After the gun was taken to the gallery, did you ever see it again?
Only once.
When was that?
On the day my husband was murdered. It was lying by his side.
No. Let's try one more different line. I think reading from the transcript is important.
Ms. Barnes?
But let's do more of this story first. Probably will not work out.
Could you explain again why you felt it necessary to borrow a gun?
I was terrified by the amount of crime in this city. I got frightened and acted irrationally. Believe me, I regret it now.
Okay, it's the same.
But hindsight is 20/20.
Do we still get the transcript option? Oh, okay, no, you don't. It's definitely good to have the transcript in there. So we want to do that first. The only other question is whether the importance. I think this would just piss her off and would not be good, but let's confirm.
Do you understand what's at stake in this trial?
Counselor, do not patronize me. Yes, I do.
Do you understand that the defendant in this case admits he killed Mr. Barnes?
Yes,
but
I do.
What's at stake here likely revolves around who brought the weapon to the murder site?
I understand.
Oh, interesting. All right, let's do transcript.
If it pleases the court, I would like to read a few lines.
Oh, this is interesting.
Ms. Barnes, I will ask you once again, do you know how the gun belonging to your cousin got to the gallery?
She could just say no, but she might speculate.
I brought it.
And why did you bring it?
I brought it to threaten my husband.
What? Your husband?
Yes.
Explain. So this must be what she referred to when she said she wasn't entirely forthcoming with us in the interview. This was the revelation we needed to get. This is... hold on, I just missed what the... Actually, I guess it doesn't matter. Go to explain.
Could you tell us why you intended to threaten your husband?
I found out he'd been sleeping with Ruby. He'd written her a letter on the computer, and I came across it accidentally.
Did you speak to him about it?
Not at first. Zachary's cousin, Daryl, the police officer, he and his family were in Hawaii on vacation, and we'd been watching the place for them. So I went over there to be alone.
What did you do there?
I called Zach. He denied everything. He'd never lied to me before. So I got a gun. I got the gun that Daryl kept in the cedar box under his bed. I don't know what I plan to do with it. Shoot myself, shoot Zach.
Oh.
Whatever.
Whatever.
When I got home, Zach was staring down into his lunch. I remember a bowl of tomato soup.
Tomatoes,
and
good
a
soup.
cheese sandwich.
Good combination. It's a solid lunch.
We looked at each other for a long moment. And then we both burst into tears. We talked for hours. I don't know if I'd ever felt closer to him. Then I remembered the gun and told him about it.
What was his reaction?
He couldn't believe it. He laughed and said he was going to tell the mayor on me. He said, I didn't realize you were Sister 45. Zach didn't want a gun in the house. So he suggested that we take it down to the gallery until I could get it back to Daryl.
Could you just put it back in
He
Daryl's
really
apartment?
did hate guns.
All right, so obviously that's good, but now we've got to establish that, what's his name? We've gotten the gun to Zach's desk, but now the heavy lifting is probably with Simon and Ruby, which is that Tobin took the gun from the desk, which I don't know if we necessarily did. Hold on, I just want to make sure that we have the right list of questions here. So gun, I think it was importance.
Do you?
Then the transcript? Yeah, then challenge and explain. Okay, good. All right, so that's clearly the best option there. So we'll save you Studio Yvonne Trial 2. All right. File name is not, oh, it's too long. Okay, so I guess it's got to be, yeah, 8 characters. Okay, so we're good on gun. Crime scene. Oh, all right. We got buys open, so pause the timer here. I don't know, I didn't like the way crime scene or art theft went. We gotta... We'll try once more with those, but it's possible the interview, we could have had a better choice with the pretrial interviews. I don't know. All right. If anyone wants to make any buys, now's your chance. Hey, good morning, Mr. Viking. Going well so far, Mr. Viking. We got a good admission from Yvonne about the gun, but we still have to tie it to Tobin now. At least we kind of planted the idea that Zach was against the idea of guns. That's somewhat helpful, but we still have to tie the gun to Tobin. Alright, Mr. Viking, 3 for Larry 3. Adds to its snake lead over King's Quest 4. Top of the raffle queue. Alright, let's do last call. Last call for buys for this hour. Alright. Thank you, Mr. Viking. Alright, so we'll resume the timer. So we like the way gun went. Crime scene, I think we did do it one way, but we weren't like thrilled about it.
On the morning of March 13th.
Sure, it was definitely wrong, so we need follow-up. And then Cashbox was definitely wrong, so we want story, but that's really it. So that kind of sucked, but we don't have we don't have any other options right here. So I think that's because it could be because we didn't uncover enough during the interview, the pre-trial interview. All right, so we're back to art theft. We did fight, alarm. Wait, fight? How do I fight here? Let's try this one again.
Ms. Barnes, wasn't your husband a co-beneficiary in the policy that covered the paintings? Do you have any idea why the defendant might have threatened your husband's life? Was the gallery alarm system functioning at the time?
So I think we can do alarm because it doesn't affect the other two. Is that correct? Explore Zach's role. I think that was the initial one, yeah. All right, so let's just do alarm first to get it out of the way, but then we'll try Zach's role. The crime scene tab. Yeah, that would be a spoiler. Yeah, please, yep. Don't tell about that. Thanks. Or hints. Yeah, so no spoilers and or hints unless I'm out of ideas and I ask for them. But I don't think the way this game works, I'm not so sure we would need a hint. It's possible, like there could be a mechanics issue that I don't. Like if these interrelate, it doesn't look like they do, meaning that the outcome of one doesn't unlock questions in the other. They look sort of fully independent from each other. All right, let's do Zach's role.
Ms. Barnes, wasn't your husband a co-beneficiary in the policy?
So it kind of gets her pissed off, but...
Yes.
What was the amount of money he was due to receive?
I'm not sure, but I resent this line of questioning.
Ms. Barnes, please.
All that's left is his good name. Now you want to ruin that?
I'll withdraw the question.
So it's obviously not good, but it does unlock the finances, which seems like a good one.
Was the gallery a financial success?
Oh, absolutely. It was one of the most successful small galleries on the West Coast.
Had it been profitable recently?
No.
Why?
James Tobin, completely against everyone's advice, changed his style of painting. His last show didn't sell well, and that created a cash flow problem for Zachary.
Wasn't this crisis so serious that your late husband feared losing the business?
I suppose.
It is possible, Hakive, because I'm not looking at chat 100% of the time. And also, keep in mind, the latency doesn't matter at all in this case, because I'm still seeing chat as soon as, I still have the opportunity to see chat as soon as possible. So the low latency is just about your seeing, the stream. It's not about my seeing chat. There's no change there. So the latency doesn't have any effect on that.
According to the insurance policy, what was the dollar amount? Would Zach's share of the insurance money have saved the gallery?
Let's try the Zach's motive. We haven't tried that yet.
Yes. Why?
In fact, Miss Barnes, couldn't your husband have been involved in the theft?
Objection calls for a... On second thought, objection withdrawn.
Yeah, why would you object to that?
No. The answer is no, and I have proof.
Proof?
Yes.
Just before the fight, I heard a message on the answering machine. I kept the tape. Objection! It's ridiculous!
Your Honor, this is just as much a surprise to me as...
The witness will surrender the tape and the court will recess to consider admissibility.
Zach, this is James. If you get the message...
James. Sorry, let me click this damn thing off. How the hell with it? It just keeps
Listen,
going.
Zach, you can't do this. If word gets around, it won't be just me in trouble. We'll both lose frickin' everything. You just take your share of the money and shut up.
Oh.
I can't do that.
Zach, don't you get self-righteous with me.
Nice.
Word of this will not get out, because if it does, then you will...
Oh, why'd it cut off there? Fuck.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Barnes, did you see your husband take the gun into the gallery?
I saw him leave our loft with it, yes.
But did you see him actually go into the gallery with it?
I didn't follow him across the street, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, welcome, Astral Storm.
Do you recognize this shirt?
Yes, it's Tobin's. He wore it the morning of the crime.
Alleged crime, Miss Barnes.
Call it what you will.
Ladies, please.
You'll notice it's yellow, or more accurately, ochre. Yet you say he had on a black t-shirt.
He put on the black shirt after he killed Zach. He certainly couldn't wear the bloody one outside, so he took it off and used it to hide the gun on his way to dump both of them. When I saw him outside the door, he went back into the gallery and changed into that shirt again.
Oh, preposterous. When was there time for him to change shirts? You followed him right into the gallery.
As a matter of fact, there was plenty of time. I had to walk about a block, then I had to open the door, which I found out Tobin had double locked. By the time I looked in the bottom of my bag
Miss
to find
Barnes,
the
thank you.
second
You've
key.
answered the question. Now I have another.
Went better than the last time, I think.
When you went into the gallery, you saw evidence of a fight, correct?
No, there was no fight. Tobin killed Zach and afterward made it look as though there'd been a
Please,
fight.
Miss Barnes, just answer the questions. This story of yours about Tobin playing dress-up and faking both a struggle and a break-in is entertaining, but you don't have any evidence to support it, do you?
No, just what I saw.
Granger, you gotta put me up there.
Remember last time Charleston cross-examined you? You broke into tears.
Oh, bull doo-doo.
What?
Yes, you made that up.
Yeah, put her up there, that's fine.
No more questions, Your Honor. I'm done with the witness.
No, I called her. That was a cross-examination. Bull doo-doo. That was a cross-examination.
Well, that's all for today. Court is adjourned until tomorrow. And, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, let me once again admonish you not to discuss this case with anyone, not even your family. You know, if something leaks out to them.
Yeah, definitely did. In the first, the first round.
I understand it was a day of surprises at the trial, Frank.
You bet it was. The widow and mayor's press secretary, Miss Yvonne Barnes, dropped a bombshell when she produced a sensational tape of the accused actually threatening her husband.
Had it been entered into evidence?
No, it came as a complete surprise. She had apparently been keeping this phone message a secret because it implicated her husband as well as Tobin in an art theft scam.
Why did she produce it at all?
Hard to say, Laura, but I think the prosecutor was able to convince her that if she held anything back, her husband's murderer might walk.
So she spilled everything.
She sure did.
Anything else?
Through extremely skilled examination by the prosecution, Ms. Barnes was coached into telling a riveting story of how the defendant tried to cover up the alleged murder by faking a break-in.
This might help with a first-degree conviction, correct?
It certainly could, because it implies premeditation.
Indeed.
Thank you, Frank. We are joined by Channel 2's own legal expert, Dr. Fleece. In your assessment, how did it go today?
Granger displayed an extraordinary display of legal acumen and courtroom skills in getting Yvonne Barnes to admit that she was the one who brought the murder weapon to the murder scene. I saw 12 jurors' jaws drop.
Thank you, Dick. This is Channel 2, news you can use. How have the civil wars raging all over the world affected weapon stocks? When we come back, Channel 2's business reporter with some tips.
Wow, that's interesting. All right, so that I don't think that
Does
could.
the prosecution wish to call another witness?
We definitely do. I don't think that could have gone much better. So let's save. And let's also. Oh yeah, I've been lax in giving Cedric. So we got 2 huge admissions, and the other thing went reasonably well. So let's give 2 apiece for the big draw drops, and then 1 for like a decent crime scene one. We'll be about 5 Cedrics there. I still wasn't thrilled about the way that the shirt went, because she was a little bit too speculative with that, like in her responses, Yvonne, but how else is it going to go, I guess? I don't know. All right, so let's, we're going to start with Simon now. Simon trial. Let's do we have room for this? Yes. Did I say emissions? I meant 2 huge, revelations. Let's say revelations. Oh, Looper is now an option. Interesting. Looper's the detective. And maybe we should follow her up, actually. You know what? Hang on. Let's do a Looper save then. I know we had a Looper option here.
And nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be seated.
Okay, broken table. So this is cool. So this will give credence to the break-in part of this. Whoops. And I don't think the other 2 really comment on the crime scene because they weren't really involved with that. So that's fine. In other words, I don't think we need to wait to call her later.
Did you find a broken glass tabletop near the body?
Yes.
Did the defendant say how it got broken?
Yes. He told me that he crashed into the table with his leg before Zach was shot as they were struggling for the gun.
Was the position of the shards of glass consistent with that story?
No. There were fragments of the table all over the ground and a few on the victim, but there was no glass under the victim's body. Therefore, the table was broken after Zach hit the ground.
Can't argue with that. Hey, welcome, Trapsy.
Is the position of the glass consistent with the table being broken by the impact of Zach's body as he fell after being shot?
Didn't we just talk about that?
Is the position of the glass consistent with the defendant intentionally breaking the table after Mr. Barnes was lying dead on the floor?
Yeah, let's go that. Yeah, let's go Tobin.
I can't say it was intentional, but there's no question the glass was broken after the body hit the floor.
Was there any evidence that indicated the table was broken as part of a struggle?
No. There was no evidence of a struggle.
That's good. Let's just confirm. I think that's absolutely right, but let's just make sure. What do we want? We'll just see how poorly the other one goes.
Is the position of the glass consistent with the table being broken by the impact of Zach's body as he fell after being shot?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, just like it was well.
I suppose the table could have been broken as Zach fell to the floor, yeah.
Hey! You just contradicted yourself. Alright, so that's not good. We definitely had the right one, but just want to confirm. Okay, crowbar.
Your Honor, would the bailiff please show the witness People's Evidence 17 and 18?
Yeah, she does seem
Inspector Looper, can you tell the jury where you found item number 17?
This crowbar we found in the back room of the gallery on top of a red toolbox.
And number 18?
This door jamb we took off the back entrance to the gallery.
How old were the marks on the jamb when you first observed them?
Very new. There were still paint flakes from the jamb on the ground.
Would you insert the crowbar into the door jamb?
My pleasure. It's a match.
And did you find the defendant's fingerprints on the crowbar?
All over it.
Boom. Alright, let's get a save in here.
Is the evidence, the match of the bar and the gouge marks and the defendant's fingerprints, consistent with Yvonne's testimony that the defendant was jimmying the door? Did you find other fingerprints on the crowbar?
Oh, Bagel, thanks very much for the follow. Welcome. Appreciate it, Bagel. What was this again?
Did you find other fingerprints on the crowbar?
I don't know how that would be helpful. Probably not. I think the evidence is the one we want because we want to connect it. Let's just see what she says. I'm interested. I think it's connect the evidence, but let's see.
Yes, there were a few from Simon and a few from Zach, but that only makes sense because they work there. But the overlays, the prints on top, were from the defendant.
Interesting. Then we
no
can't
more
connect.
Questions, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
And La
Do you have
Sabella,
any
thank you for
incentive
the
to see
follow.
my client go to jail?
Objection. What relevance?
No, that's okay. Yes. I like to see justice done.
When was the last time you had a promotion?
Uh-oh.
5 years ago. I was promoted to inspector.
The department has an incentive system for detectives based on the number of convictions, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Does the prosecutor...
I don't know what she expected to get out of that. Of course, like, a detective's gonna want a conviction. That's the whole point. Like, you're not establishing anything out of the ordinary here. All right, so let's try connect the evidence because we want to connect the dots. This just, firmly establishes that he was the last one to touch it.
Is the evidence, the match of the bar and the gouge marks and the defendant's fingerprints, consistent with Yvonne's testimony that the defendant was jimmying the door?
Yes.
Is this evidence and Yvonne's testimony consistent with the defendant trying to stage a robbery?
Absolutely.
I like that grin on her face.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is it going to be the same? Probably.
Ms. Looper, did you base your investigation on the suggestions of Yvonne Barnes?
No. I listened to all the witnesses.
Did you ask Miss Barnes why someone would jimmy a door in broad daylight instead of perhaps making the marks the night before?
No. But I can't comment on the intelligence of the accused.
Did you find other fingerprints on the crowbar?
Yes. Some of Simon's and some of Zach's. But they were covered mostly by the defendant.
Miss Looper, if you can, for a moment, forget what Yvonne told you. Isn't the hard evidence consistent with Zach creating the marks perhaps the night before?
I suppose.
Uh-oh, that one's not good.
I'm finished with Miss Looper.
Pity.
All right, we want Zach's marks after all. Look at that.
Does the prosecution...
Or prints.
Did you find other fingerprints on the crowbar?
Yeah, who knew?
Yes,
You'd think you'd want to connect the
there were a few from
evidence.
Simon and a few from Zach, but that only makes sense because they...
Do you have any incentive to see my client go to jail?
Okay.
Does the prosecution wish to call another witness?
Yes, Simon. We got Simon trial. Okay.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be seated.
All right, art theft.
Mr. Lee, did you stop by the Barnes Gallery on February 25th, the night the defendant's paintings were stolen?
Yes, and I saw Tobin.
You saw James Tobin in the gallery? What time was this?
About 3 a.m. I walk in and there's Tobin standing in the middle of the gallery. He's got a razor knife in his hand and some of his paintings been cut out of the frames. At first I thought he was making some kind of new art.
What was your second thought?
That he was ripping the place off. But I couldn't figure out what he was doing stealing his own paintings.
Did he say anything to you?
Yeah, told me to keep it quiet. Said he could do whatever he wanted with his own paintings.
Did you later discuss the theft with him?
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, by the way, gave out a Cedric there for the successful Looper line of questioning. Yeah, so here's the question. Do we want to suggest he was bribed or asked? Let's see.
Mr. Lee, aren't you leaving something out of this story? What happened next?
So remember when in the questioning, we tried to ask if he was bribed by, in the interview, the pre-trial interview, we asked if he was bribed or offered a bribe by James Tobin, but he kind of refused to answer that. Maybe we should be more aggressive with him now to get him to crack under oath. Let's see. Let's suggest.
Mr. Lee, aren't you leaving something out of this story?
Objection! Argumentative.
Forgive me, Miss Charleston. Mr. Lee, did the defendant offer you anything in exchange for your cooperation?
Not really.
Not really? Mr. Lee, on March 10th, you purchased a motorcycle from the San Bruno Cycle Works. Did you pay cash?
Yes.
Was it typical of you to have this amount of cash on hand?
No.
How did you get it?
It was a bonus from work. It showed up in my pay envelope. I never asked for it.
Really?
Tobin gave it to me.
Uh-huh.
Said Merry Christmas.
In February? Let's just make sure the other one. I think the first time around we did that one, the ask if he was bribed. I don't think it worked out well.
What happened next?
Well, I left the gallery. My friends were waiting in a car out front.
Where did you go?
To Bosco's out on Van Ness. We were hungry. Then I went home.
Did James Tobin ever offer you money for your silence?
No.
Did you ever talk to anybody about what you had seen?
No. Like I said, it wasn't any of my business.
Yeah, that's the one we did before that did not work. Definitely did not work out well. All right, so that's a short one. That's fine. Unless, again, I think we could have done a better job with the pre-trial interview of him, I think. Okay, so we'll save here again. All right, so that's a short line of questioning. Let's move on to the gun.
Did anyone at any time keep a gun on the premises of the Barnes Gallery?
Yes.
To Santa for fraud.
Zachary Barnes had one. In a drawer in his office, locked up. Had a big fat barrel.
What color was it?
Silver.
Do you remember any other identifying detail?
Yes, it had Smith & Wesson stamped on the barrel. I remember I was at work that night and I saw him from across the room. He unsnapped his briefcase and slid a pistol into his drawer and locked it.
Did you tell the defendant about the gun?
No.
Did you ever see that gun again?
No, never.
Okay, I don't think he took the gun. Let's see, friendship with Tom.
Did you just take the gun to the defendant? When you saw Zachary in his office holding the gun, was he about as far away from you as I am now?
Oh yeah, okay, you can call that into question.
Prior to the murder, did you consider yourself friends with James Tobin?
Let's go consistency.
When you saw Zachary in his office holding the gun, was he about as far away from you as I am now?
I don't know, maybe a little further.
And you never saw the gun again?
No.
What kind of chewing gum is this?
I don't know. I don't remember which one has the blue pack.
It's Beeman's, Mr. Lee. Good old-fashioned brand. Now, you couldn't read the bold, oversized type on this package. How could you possibly read Smith & Wesson on a gun from across the room?
I don't know.
Would you like to reconsider your statement that you never saw the gun again?
Yes, please reconsider.
Prior to the murder, did you consider yourself friends with James Tobin?
So we probably need to accuse him of telling Tobin.
I'm going to ask you again, Mr. Lee. Did you go back and take a second look at the gun in the deceased's office?
Yeah, I went back. I looked at it again and saw the words on the barrel.
Did you go by yourself?
I can't remember.
You can't remember? That's ridiculous.
Listen, I didn't know what Tobin was gonna do with the damn gun. I had no idea.
Now slow down, please, and just tell us the story from the beginning.
Please do.
Like I said, I saw Zach bring a gun into the gallery. I was worried what he might be planning because there was so much garbage going on between him and Tobin. So I told Tobin about the gun. You know, I thought I should warn him. So we got the extra key and unlocked the drawer and I showed it to him.
How'd he react?
I couldn't tell, really, if he was excited or mad, but he mumbled something, I think, like, "Good work, Simon, I'm glad to have this."
So he took the gun. All right, I don't think that could have gone much better because now we've tied Tobin to the gun, which was what we were missing before. So let's do a Simon trial 2. Too big. Oh wait, shoot. Did I put open? I wanted to save. Just in case. All right. Wait, Bagel, were you here yesterday for the first trial? Yeah, I know. No, not done with witness. Jeez. All right, letter. Oh, lurking. Nice.
Did you ever hear the defendant mention the affair between Zachary Barnes and Ruby Garcia?
Yeah, I heard him and Ruby.
When was this?
A couple days before the murder. They were in their apartment, upstairs from the gallery where I was. But I wouldn't call it a conversation. James was yelling his head off at Ruby.
What did he say?
He said he had just discovered a love letter from Zach, and he was mad as hell, yelling threats and stuff.
Okay. I think we did chronology yesterday. I don't think that worked out so well.
I'd like to establish the order of events, Mr. Lee. First, did you actually see this letter? Did you hear the defendant threaten Zachary Barnes, per se?
Actually, I think it might have gone okay. I think it was with Ruby where it fell off. All right, let's do chronology first, but we can go back and check the other one.
I'd like to establish the order of events, Mr. Lee. First, did you actually see this letter?
Yeah, Zach gave it to me to give to Ruby at the loft.
Was the defendant home?
Well, he was coming up to the loft and I passed him on the stairs on my way down after I delivered the letter.
What happened next?
Tobin busted through the bathroom door. He caught Ruby reading the letter and he grabbed it from her and started pushing her around. And she was screaming.
Objection. Hearsay. How could he know this? The witnesses testified he was not in the room.
I could hear her. Besides, Ruby told me.
Your Honor.
The witness will confine himself to answering questions.
She asked a question.
Questions from the examining attorney. And he will not be a wise guy in my court.
Wise guy.
Did you happen to open the letter and read it? So what happened after the argument? Did you happen to open the letter and read it?
I glanced at it.
Why?
Because I was looking out for my boss. Well, we were friends, and I was a little paranoid of what Zach might be up to.
Okay. Well, why does it matter if you told Tobin about the letter? We know Tobin took the letter.
Did you tell the defendant about the contents of the letter?
Oh, that gives him maybe motivation.
So what happened after the argument?
Still Tobin.
Did you tell the defendant about the contents of the letter?
Yeah, I told him, but I wish I didn't.
When did you tell him?
Right after I gave Ruby the letter when I ran into him on the staircase.
And what happened next?
He went into the loft and he and Ruby started fighting.
Did you see the defendant again that day?
Yeah. About a half hour later downstairs when he put a hole in the wall with his fist and cleared everything off his desk, including a new vase of flowers. It broke.
He say anything?
Yeah, he said Zachary was a real bastard to be getting it on with Ruby and he was gonna make him very sorry.
Mm-hmm. You ask what he meant by that?
You crazy?
No more questions, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
Cross-examination goes.
Did you ever see Mr. Tobin in possession of the gun that Zachary Barnes kept in his office?
Charles, thanks very much for the follow.
Did Mr. Barnes ever mention the gun was missing from its drawer?
No.
So Zachary Barnes was the last person in possession of the weapon?
I don't know. Like I said, the last time I saw the gun was on Tuesday when I showed it to James. It was weird. I remember he touched me on the shoulder, and when I think about it, it gives me a chill.
A chill?
Yeah. I realized I gave Tobin what he needed. A way to kill Zach.
What about that, attorney?
Mr. Lee, on the night that you delivered the deceased's letter to Ms. Garcia, did you actually see her and James Tobin quarreling?
No, but I heard him.
You were one story below. Could you actually make out the substance of their conversation?
Well, James was yelling pretty loud.
But could you decipher his exact words?
I could decipher that he was out of control.
Quiet down, please.
She's kind of shutting up now.
I'm done with the witness.
This seems to have gone fairly
well. Day. Court is adjourned.
See what the legal analysis is. Is it a diner?
As we reduced, as an industry, as we reduced violence, there was great concern we would fill that void with sex, which, of course, has not and will not happen.
Whipped cream. Was this a Cool Whip commercial?
People around the country fall in love with them from the first moment they see them. Some have even said that it changed their lives.
I don't remember much, but all of a sudden, I gave birth to a fork.
A fork? She
Listening
said?
in rapt attention, as Prosecutor Granger silenced his courtroom critics today with an exemplary performance. Observers in the gallery finally saw what they came for. The old Granger, the cunning legal master at work. With great skill, he got Mr. Lee to admit accepting hush money from the defendant. As damning testimony as I have ever seen.
Sounds like quite a morning. Did Mr. Lee answer any questions about the murder itself?
Prosecution performed brilliantly. Clearly, Granger knew what he wanted out of this witness, and with the skill of a surgeon, he went in and pulled it out.
Exactly.
Like a gallbladder, huh? Well, it's always exciting to watch a pro. Thank you, Richard. Coming up, the Marin Citizens Tax Board is protesting the IRS ruling that ski equipment donated to the homeless is not tax deductible. The story when we come back.
Unless you're getting like a ski jacket and a hat, why would the homeless need skiing equipment? Interesting.
Good morning. Will the prosecution please call another witness?
yeah, that's exactly right, period. Exactly right. Yeah, so the woman said she gave birth to a fork? What? That makes no sense. All right, so let's get a Ruby safe here. So it looks like the first two went really well, naturally, and Looper too. So we'll do Ruby trial.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Well, I am safe.
I do.
Please be seated.
All right, so we're going to start off with art theft.
Where were you on the night the defendant's paintings were stolen from the Barnes Gallery?
I came home from school about 6. Jimmy seemed a little nervous.
Did the defendant leave the loft after dinner?
No. He went into the studio, and we ended up in bed at about 11.
Do you recall the defendant leaving the bedroom at any point during the night?
Yes.
At what time?
At about 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up. Jimmy was coming in the bedroom door, and he had street clothes on. He had one of those wool, like, navy caps on.
Yeah, I know that. I know it's supposed to be sensational. It's just weird. You'd expect her to say, "Oh, I gave birth to an alien, not a fork." All right, so remember with Ruby, the pre-trial interview with her went really well. But then we got that phone call while we were driving around in which she said, like, she talked to Jimmy in jail and then she was, like, turning back against us. So I'm expecting there to be some, like, tricky moment here with this examination. Well, she wouldn't know if Tobin stole the paintings.
The fact is, he was downstairs stealing his own paintings, correct?
Yeah, how would she know that?
Did the defendant explain to you what he was doing?
Yeah,
wandering
I'd rather
around, fully dressed in the middle of the night?
I'd rather place the doubt there.
He said he heard a noise downstairs and went to investigate.
Did he tell you what he found?
He said he didn't find anything.
No? When did you come to learn the paintings were stolen?
The next morning, Jimmy left the loft early, on an errand or something. Zach came by all upset. Said someone had broken into the gallery and Jimmy's paintings were gone. Now that I think about it, that's really when the trouble between Zach and Jimmy started.
What else did Zachary say? The fact is, he was downstairs stealing his own paintings, correct?
Let's go Zach's story.
What else did Zachary say?
Well, first I told him what had happened the night before. How Jimmy had heard a noise and went downstairs to investigate. Well, I thought that the thief had hung out and hid until Jimmy left.
Did Zach respond?
Zach was suspicious. He goes to me, "What a stunt. Jimmy will never get away with this."
It seems good. But we know that both Zach and Tobin were in on it together, right? That's the thing.
Did Mr. Barnes tell you he had suspected this theft might occur? Did you tell the defendant about Mr. Barnes' suspicions?
Both seem okay. Let's do another save here.
Yeah, I told him.
And what was his reaction?
Jimmy lost it. He said Zach better keep his big ideas to himself real.
Or what?
I don't know. He didn't finish.
Okay, let's see what the Zach one would have been like.
Did Mr. Barnes tell you he had suspected this theft might occur?
Not exactly.
Did you get the feeling that Zach himself was somehow involved?
I didn't know what to think.
I'd rather... Actually, you know what? Let's go back to the first Ruby one. I want to try a different line of questioning with this. Okay, this is definitely not going to work. Stole the paintings.
The fact is, he was downstairs stealing his own paintings, correct?
I have no way of really knowing that.
Objection.
Exactly.
Sustained.
Terrible. One question and done. As expected. And then this would also not go well. So I think we're probably good.
The fact is, he was downstairs stealing his own paintings, correct?
I have no way of really knowing that.
Objection.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think we got it the first time through. So we'll do an updated save here. Open the story. Backstory. Pursued Tobin.
Did you tell the
Okay. We're good there. Let's get another save. Alright, so let's move on to the gun. Give out to Cedric for getting through that one.
Did you ever know the defendant to keep a gun in his possession?
No.
Miss Garcia, you told me in an earlier interview that you'd seen a gun in Tobin's work cabinet in your loft apartment.
Yes, but when I went back and took a look, I saw I was mistaken. It was a pair of pliers.
You mistook a pair of pliers for a gun?
I guess so.
So you never saw a gun in the residence?
No.
Or knew about one?
No.
Or heard the defendant?
I told you, no.
All right, so that did not go well at all, and we didn't have any other options. So probably we bungled her pre-trial interview, but maybe we come at her. Well, we don't have cross. I don't know if the testimony from Simon and Yvonne is enough to counteract that. There's no other option, huh? Weird. Let's do the, I guess what we'll do, why don't we do Zach first and we'll come back to the gun.
Ms. Garcia, did you have an affair with the late Zachary Barnes? Would the bailiff please give the witness evidence labeled Peoples 23, which was obtained from the computer of the late Zachary Barnes?
So I'm guessing slept with Zach. She might just deny it. I'm not sure. Let's try slept first then.
Ms. Garcia, did you have an affair with the late Zachary Barnes?
Yes, but it was just a one-night stand.
Okay. So that's fine. We still keep the letter.
Upon learning of the affair, did the defendant make threats against Zach?
Well, let's do the letter first.
Would the bailiff please give the witness evidence labeled Peoples 23, which was obtained from the computer of the late Zachary Barnes? Ms. Garcia, please read the beginning of the letter.
Out loud.
Out loud.
Dear Ruby Red, I want to talk to you about what happened between us the other night. The feelings are so strong, I can't think of anything else.
Okay. So there's a whole thing about the threats, but I think the question is, can we say that?
Did the defendant threaten the deceased because of the letter?
She's not going to know that. I think we need to do it. Did she read it before?
Ms. Garcia, did you ever get to read this letter before?
No.
Please tell the jury why.
'Cause
Music.
Jimmy took it before I could read it.
Okay. Why don't you keep reading?
Please continue reading the letter.
Ruby, I don't know what to believe anymore, but I've decided the least I could do is tell the truth. What I've told you then was true. I have very deep feelings for you. All right? I love you. I've said it.
Please continue.
But what we did last night was not right. I love my wife, Yvonne. And shouldn't have allowed things to go as far as they did. I don't know how I'll face her. And it's not fair to Jimmy either. He's made some mistakes, but deep down he's a good guy. And finally, Ruby, what should be important to you is your own work. Because it's good, and it can get lost in all this mess. Capiche?
Capiche.
Zach?
Who puts capiche in writing? Capiche. Yeah, the problem is I don't think the one line of questioning has any influence on the other.
Please speak up if you can.
I lied. I've been lying.
About? She didn't say what she was lying about. Man. So let's get a save there. I'm trying to remember I think we do trial. I just want to try the other line of questioning. I mean, it seems like obviously that was very good. I just want to confirm that if you ever choose the threat option, it does not go well. She didn't say what she was lying about.
Did the defendant threaten the deceased because of the letter?
She was part of work.
Well, after he read the letter, he was upset naturally, but I don't remember any threats.
No threats at all?
No.
So she just lied? Okay, so that clearly did not go well. Let's go letter first. We do threats now. Okay, that clears it out. All right, so I think we got the right line of questioning there. Okay, cool. All right, so now we have gun. This is the problem, though. This didn't go anywhere.
Did you ever know the defendant to keep a gun in his possession?
Yeah.
No, not in his possession exactly. But I did see a gun in our loft the night before the murder.
Oh,
Could you describe it?
Silver, and it had a black handle.
The order does matter.
In Jimmy's work cabinet the night before the murder.
This work cabinet, it's on the premises where you live?
Yes. In the painting studio.
Did you say anything to the defendant?
No. I was afraid to.
Wow. Okay, so I didn't think these had line of question, but apparently doing Zach part first before the gun gets us a different response on gun. So we definitely, yeah, Astral, you were right. We did break her down such that she cooperated with us on gun. That's great.
Your Honor, the prosecution requests that the witness be allowed to examine People's 11.
Yeah, Abs, were you here for the woman who gave birth to a fork?
Is this the weapon you saw in the defendant's work cabinet?
Hey, Muff.
That's it. I recognize it because of the insignia and the tape on the back of the gun. I should have talked about it. I was just too afraid.
All right, sounds good to me. All right, I think the one line of questioning that didn't go great was the, which one was it? I think there was one of the ones with Yvonne, which I wasn't like thrilled about. But I think the rest of the case went so well, I can't imagine we don't get a conviction on this. I mean, I really hope that's the case. All right, so let's do another save here. Definitely, that was very good with the gun. All right, so we're done with witness. Actually, wait a minute. We don't have anything else to ask her, so of course I'm done with her.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Oh, I missed whether she
Defense,
kept it.
do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Garcia, the truth is, you were indeed having an affair with the deceased at the same time you were living with James Tobin, correct?
Yes.
And did you and your lover discuss the theft before it took place?
My lover?
Which
do you
lover?
mean Zach or Jimmy?
You tell me, which one was it?
I don't understand the question.
I'll withdraw. Miss Garcia, isn't it true that you and Zachary Barnes planned to run off with the insurance money after James Tobin's paintings were stolen?
Objection.
Sustain.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Ah, she has no rebuttal for that.
Well, that's all for today. The witness may step down.
Yeah, welcome, Big Red.
Key witness and girlfriend of the defendant, Ruby Garcia, testified today. And the prosecutor really got it right this time. The crafty court fox was back in form as he had the witness read a love letter from a man her boyfriend is accused of murdering.
Crafty court fox.
The jury was jolted, and there wasn't a dry eye in the house, as Ms. Garcia abandoned allegiances to the defendant by admitting that she saw the murder weapon on his person the night before the murder.
Sounds like a soap opera.
No, this is real.
It's like great.
Will
No,
the prosecution please call another witness?
that was a great response.
Your Honor, the people rest.
Morning, Travis.
Very well. Will the defense please call its first witness?
The defense would like to call James Tobin to the stand.
Oh, okay, here we go. Tobin. We're going to get some
James, this
cross-examination.
past year, what was the financial health of the Barnes Gallery?
Well, to be honest, it was close to failing.
Did you and Mr. Barnes make plans to remedy the situation?
Zach did. He suggested that we arrange to have the paintings stolen from the gallery and collect the insurance.
Did you go along?
At first I did. We worked very hard to create the gallery. It was our lives. So one night I went in and I cut the paintings from the frames, and Zach had the canvases destroyed.
And what happened next?
Well, a few days later, I changed my mind. My conscience bothered me. It wouldn't let up. So I told Zach that we simply had to withdraw the claim. He refused several times.
Did this come up again on the day of the shooting?
Yes. I told him that if he didn't withdraw the claim, that I would go to the authorities first thing Monday morning.
Had Zachary Barnes ever threatened you with bodily harm?
Several times. Earlier in that same week, in fact, he had threatened to kill me.
James, were you aware that Zachary had been keeping a gun in his office drawer at the Barnes Gallery?
Yes. Simon told me. He also told me that Zachary had planned to use it against me, so I went down to his desk and I removed the gun. I put it in my work closet upstairs where I store my paints.
Did you bring that gun to the meeting between yourself and the deceased that morning?
I did.
Why?
I was afraid. And I had a right to be afraid. Because right there, as soon as I mentioned the theft, Zach yanked open the office drawer, looking for the gun. When he didn't find it, then he blew up, coming at me, screaming and threatening me. I drew the gun in self-defense, telling him to back off. But he just kept coming at me. He grabbed me and the gun went off. And that's just the way it happened.
A likely story.
I wish it wasn't true, but it is.
Thank you, James. Your witness.
My witness.
Prosecution, do you wish to cross-examine?
No questions, Ron. Yes, we do. All right, let's save here. Tobin. All right, we have art, theft, and gun. Okay, so uses art theft story at the phone message.
You let Mr. Barnes talk you into destroying your own work? On Sunday, March 11th, you made a telephone call to Zachary Barnes, correct?
This is the message... Is this the message he told us about? Or is this the one that she played, that Yvonne played? Let's go phone message first.
Well, I can't be sure about dates.
Certainly you remember this particular conversation. It was recorded on the phone machine and played here in court.
Well, that tape recording is inaccurate.
The tape was inaccurate?
Well, the context is inaccurate. I was trying to persuade Zach to withdraw the claim.
You were. Ms. Barnes testified that she overheard you threaten her husband's life later that same afternoon. So, in fact, you planned the murder. It was premeditated.
I told you I have never threatened Zachary's life. It's her word against mine.
Ms. Barnes was mistaken?
She's lying. The bitch is lying, that's all. The whole time that Zachary was alive, she was embarrassed by him. She would cover for him. And now that he's dead, then nothing has changed. She will do anything to protect her reputation, including see me convicted of something that I did not do. I am innocent!
Innocent, I tell you! Alright, let's just see the other one. See how that one would have gone.
You let Mr. Barnes talk you into destroying your own work?
Yes.
Mr. Tobin, by all accounts, you were a dedicated artist.
Yes.
You treasure the objects of your work, the paintings?
Well, not all of them. I can be very self-critical. I have gone through periods where I hate everything that I've done.
I see.
Okay, that one didn't work out quite so well.
On Sunday...
Okay. Now we have the gun. Welcome enough, Jet. Accuse him of murder or examine the fight details. Probably the fight details first, then the murder.
At the crime scene itself, you told Inspector Looper that Zachary had shot you in the leg. Why did you change your story later? Mr. Tobin, you admit bringing the gun to the gallery?
Let's do fight details first. Sure.
Yes.
This is a new story for you, is it not?
Yes, I guess so.
And where did you get this gun?
I already told you I got it from the drawer in Zach's desk.
Simon Lee mentioned this top drawer was locked. How'd you get in?
Well, I knew that the key was kept behind the mirror in the bathroom. It's the kind of drawer that locks automatically when you close it.
Then how
So
come
if
he
you want to
yanked
open
it
it,
open?
you've got to go get the key and unlock it?
Yes.
In your most recent version of what happened,
Said
you
he yanked
said
it
Zach
open.
went to the gun drawer and yanked it open, scaring you.
Yes.
What did he do? Run into the bathroom, get the key, run back, insert it
Well,
into
no,
the lock?
Maybe he reached down into the bottom drawer, or maybe he had the key all along. All I know is that I was scared and that I thought that he was reaching for the gun.
I thought you had the gun.
Well, no. No, yes. No. Why are you trying to trap me? Can't you see that he's trying to trap me?
You trapped yourself, sir.
Your Honor, may I have a moment with my client?
Please be brief.
No, you may not.
James, you've got to calm down.
I
This is a
can't
very
take
crucial
much
moment.
more of this.
Just take it easy. Just do it as you rehearsed. Everything will be
Everybody's
fine.
turning against
Don't
me.
worry about it. Your Honor, my client is ready.
Mr. Tobin, why did you shoot yourself in the leg?
I was afraid that no one would believe me unless I could show that Zach tried to kill me.
And as your partner, Zachary Barnes, lay bleeding to death at your feet, your first thought was to protect yourself?
No, I gave him CPR.
You gave CPR to a man who was bleeding through the throat?
Yes. No.
Matter of fact, you went outside into the alley, as Yvonne Barnes said.
Oh, yeah, well, she is lying.
I see. For many years, you and Zachary had a successful partnership, yes?
Yes.
And Yvonne was part of your circle of friends?
At what time?
Simon loyally helped you with your work?
Yes.
And Ruby, the woman you loved?
That lying whore.
Oh!
I see. So now you claim that all these friends, Simon Lee, Ruby Garcia, and the late Zachary
Lying,
Barnes...
scheming
Tobin.
scum!
Mr.
They all
Tobin.
wanted my insurance money.
Sit
Why doesn't
down, Mr.
anybody see
Tobin.
my side of it if I
said
only had a
sit down.
competent attorney? That whole thing would have... And you put them up to this, I know you did.
The ranting of a desperate man. No more questions, Your Honor. I'm done with this witness.
Take him away, boys.
Does the defense wish to call another witness?
No, Your Honor. We're finished.
That's right, you are.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have heard all the evidence. And it's time now for me to give you the instructions on the law, after which you will hear the closing arguments. And remember, the closing arguments are what is...
They made you talk, yes. Would have gone away with it too if it hadn't been for you meddling kids.
There has been an important development in the Tobin trial. We go live to City Hall.
Just a few moments ago, the jury finally returned. They are looking very haggard after 9 days of deliberation. Word is they have reached a unanimous decision. The judge is now querying the foreperson, who will then hand over the verdict to the clerk of the court.
Some Gregorian chant here?
Will the defendant please rise? Clerk, read the verdict.
On the charge of grand theft, the jury finds the defendant guilty.
Yes.
On the charge of murder, the jury finds the defendant guilty of murder in the first degree.
First degree. Bam. Yahoo!
Win some, lose some. Helps to be a friend of the judge. Congratulations.
Sour grapes. He calls you incompetent too.
Bailiff, take this man away. Court is adjourned.
in the vast expanse.
All of them were packing up their tents and moving on. The city was well served by its prosecutor. I felt all along that Granger, in spite of occasional hesitations, would get a first, and he did.
You really hung in there yourself, Frank. Any closing thoughts?
Relief, Laura. That's all.
Well, good work. This concludes Channel 2's coverage of the Tobin murder trial. We'll be right back with sports.
No talk about the food at the courthouse?
Channel 2 presents next Thursday at 8 the made-for-TV movie more shocking than the headlines it's based on, The Tobin Trial, starring Tori Gray as the grieving widow, Yvonne, Blake Ramsey in the title role as the homicidal artist, and Patricia Williams as Ruby, torn between passion and loyalty for the accused. Critics have called this a shocking ride through the boudoirs and courtrooms of the world's most mysterious city.
They did a TV movie in a week? They produced it? All right, there it is. The end. After 5 hours and 38 minutes. In the first degree, murder in the first degree has been proven. James Tobin has been sent away. We never heard his sentence. I wonder whether he got life. Perhaps the death penalty. Who knows? I'll have to find out. His attorney was humiliated, and so was he. Oh, no. Sorry, we can't. No buys. the timer, yeah, that ended up being quite bad timing there. But yeah, it was a fun game. Yeah, you know better than that, Chicago. Come on. It was definitely a fun game. Obviously, it was a little bit easy because you could save scum pretty easily. But I think given the premise, they did a nice job with it. I liked the news commentary that was done throughout. The characters had interesting personalities, and it was satisfying to play. They could have made the case perhaps a little bit more complex, maybe thrown few other witnesses there. Because like the crime scene in particular, I thought there could have been a little bit more to that, but all in all, it was pretty good. I don't know whether there was more. Someone else may know whether there was more like revelations, which we didn't get in court, something like that. I mean, we definitely got both charges, so that was the good news. Convictions, but I don't know if we could have we didn't necessarily 100% it, even though we got the best ending. Maybe there were other dramatic revelations you could have gotten in the court or even in the pre-trial interviews. But yeah, it was fun. So thanks again, Silo, for the pick. It was a perfect trial. Really? Okay, thanks, Big. I thought the pre-trial interviews, though, didn't go as well as they could have yesterday, but I guess that was the whole thing. You're supposed to go in and then, even though Ruby is slightly hostile to you, and even Simon with the bribe, which he didn't admit to in the interview, then you flip onto him in the trial, and you corner him, and then he admits it. So I guess that's probably part of it. How's it going, Yunkun, Jigga? All right, so let's head to our Hall of Adventure. And game number 133 in the first degree up on the shelf. Oh, really? That's kind of cool material. All right, so I got to give the game props then if there are a lot of different ways that you can prove that you can get a conviction out of. That's kind of neat then. Are there different other storylines I guess you could emphasize or something? Neat. All right, so stick around, everybody. We're going to take a look at the time and death guesses. Award Cedric's out to those who are close. And that will be followed up by a raffle. Let's choose game, I guess it's, R41. Add a game into the raffle queue. And that'll be followed up by Adventure Showdown to determine what game number 134, the next game, will be. Oh yeah, they would have had to have called the game something else, I guess, Trapsy, in that case. All right, so the final time was 5 hours 38 minutes. So here's what you stand to win, depending on how close your guess was. Cow. Mantis was 404. Look at this, Rack 5, 545 within 10 minutes. Congratulations to Rack 250 Cedrics with the closest time guess. Nicely done, Rack. And then Materian at 6 hours was 20 minutes away, so he's within the half hour. 100 Cedrics for Materian. Aardvark 602, also within the half hour. 100 Cedrics for Aardvark. You can start with the most hostile witnesses, convince them to cooperate if you have the right info in advance. Oh, interesting. Huh. That's kind of neat. And we have Ghost at 634. Ghost just within the hour will take home 25 Cedrics. And Nico also just within the hour at 636. Also 25 for Nico. And Moff 734 was just about 2 hours over, and everyone else, Moff, Noble, Kago, Miria, Nox, etc., all way over there with their time guesses. All right, now we go to the deaths, or in this case, failed convictions. Oh, that's neat. That's neat, Bagel. Yeah, because the things didn't go well for. Yeah, that is neat. Does anyone know, like, oh, actually, I guess they don't. I don't know whether YouTube would, if there are like long plays from other folks that you could watch to see other things. That'd be interesting. All right, so we had one failed. The first run was definitely a failed conviction. So we did have one quote unquote death. So anyone who guessed 0 though will still pick up 50 because you're within 2. So that includes Cow. I think a lot of folks. We have Materian. Ghost. Miria. Mr. Viking. Shrademan. Classy fellow. Shikai. Most complete thing has most but not all possible conversation results. Neat, yeah, I'm gonna try to check that out. Alright, then we have Boss nailed it. With 1 death, 100 Cedrics for Boss. Congrats, Boss. Mantis also was 1 over. We'll take home 50. Same with Nox and Dark. Then we have within 5, Rack 5. I think that's 25, memory serves. Yeah. Noble. Ansti. Aardvark just within. Oh, actually we had. Yeah, makes sense. Liquid Flood. Ambrosine was 6 away, so that's what puts her within 10. She will receive 10. Nico at 10. along with Moff. Chicago. Morgan. And then Sting at 12 was 11 over, so no Cedrics for Sting or any of the other guessers there. I did, Astral, I did. Okay. Thanks again, everyone. Congrats to all the time and death guess winners. Yeah, we will be playing Solaris after we wrap up this stream. Yep. I'll probably have like there'll be like a 3-minute break, something like that, just so I can get set up for it, but it'll be very short. All right, so the upcoming raffle. All right, so this raffle is for spot, I believe it's going to be R41 now. Yes, R41, or a promotion. As always, this one's going to be open to everybody between 1 and 50 Cedrics. Entry fee. And raffle is now open. Alright, raffle about to close. And Lester just got in under the wire. Yes, it is a huge list. We'll never run out of games to play. That's That's the good way of looking at it. All right, so we got 21 folks in the raffle. Good luck, one and all. Let's get a drum roll, please. And the winner is... Whoops. There it is! Liquid Flood. Congratulations. Congratulations, Flood. Wins the raffle. I think that's the first raffle win for Liquid Flood. Congrats, sir. As the winner is Oops. Dare to Dream is the pick from Flood. Let's take a look. Part 1 in a Darkened Room. Ah, okay, so that's a first in a, looks like a trilogy. From Flood. So that'll be added to our raffle queue. Right next to Flood's other pick, Daedalus Encounter, which was his viewer pick. So that unlocks Dare to Dream 2, which is now eligible to be picked. 1993 Detective Mystery Game will go in our raffle queue at spot R41. We'll take a look at that momentarily. Yeah, always great to have a new winner. Absolutely. Trying to see who this is. All right. Trying to see if I could get up a trailer, but there's unfortunately like a movie too, so it's getting tough to find on YouTube. Okay, Epic Mega Games was the developer. No trailer. Oh, we got a little bit of gameplay though. We could at least take a look at the gameplay. Perhaps. Just so folks get a feeling for the game. And Flood, thanks very much.
Celebration.
Thank you, Flood. Thanks very much for the 200 bits. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Alright, so we have, this was 1993 game from Epic Mega Games. Dare to Dream Part 1 in a Darkened Room is a point-and-click graphic adventure game viewed in the first person. Tyler E. Norris, the main character who is a 10-year-old boy, is caught in his dreams which he keeps repeatedly having. While sometimes dreams can be nice to have, they can also turn into nightmares. Wandering the streets of his dream world, he can talk to the various denizens he runs into and can pick up items and place them in his inventory. Items like dirty underwear or sewage will be put to use in order to solve puzzles. The gameplay area is split into 2 sections, yada yada yada. Alright, yeah, so it was a shareware game, so no even box art. But here, let's actually take a look at the take a look at some gameplay footage, shall we?
It won't accomplish anything.
You are Tyler. Oh, that was the story so far. Oh, so it's kind of like a McVentures type of interface? Alright, so we kind of get the idea in terms of like the interface and such. Take a look at some other screenshots. There was the story. Apparently, it's definitely a tutorial help section. So it looks pretty good for a shareware title like this. So thanks again, Liquid Flood, for the pick. Dare to Dream, Part 1 in a darkened room, added to the raffle queue at R41. And I'm just adding it here to the our raffle sheet. By the way, that means Silo is no longer pellet, eligible to participate in the next raffle. Okay. And that'll take us to today's Adventure Showdown, which will be waged among 5 different games for the right to become game number 134. First up, out of the raffle slot, making its Showdown debut from Morgan Le Fay, Pirate Hunter, it's Shivers, the 1995 horror game from Sierra. Has 1 gun. If it wins, Leisure Suit Larry 3 would replace it in the next showdown. Then we have, out of the hybrid slot from Mothmeister, it's Showdown number 3 for Dark Seed 2. Still just 1 gun. A lot of support to get to the showdown, but since it's arrived in the showdown, it has received no support. If Dark Seed 2 wins, Bloodnet would graduate up from the viewer queue to replace it in the next showdown. And we have from Rexidoodle, it's Showdown number 2 for Are You Afraid of the Dark? The Tale of Orpheus' Curse. Based on the Nickelodeon show, I believe. It's got 10 guns. If it wins, we'd also see Bloodnet come into the next showdown. And we have from Gamer Grill, the veteran of the showdown, showdown number 6 for Phantasmagoria, A Puzzle of Flesh, the sequel to Phantasmagoria. It has 7 guns. And finally, from Dark 77778, it's Once Upon a Forest, the only non-horror game in today's showdown. It's also the favorite with 22 guns. If Forest or Phantasmagoria 2 win, the next showdown would go down to just 4 games apiece. So with the introductions out of the way, Gunsmith is now back in town selling guns, 50 Cedrics apiece. If you want to aid the odds of any of these 5 games, shown below. Alright, we have Megabyte, a gun for Shivers. Gives it 2. Rack 5. 3 for Darkseed 2. Darkseed also gets 3 from Nico. Goes right up to 7. Sabriel, 1 for Are You Afraid of the Dark? That'll go up to 11. Finaza chips in 3 more. Or Are You Afraid? Now at 14. Hey Duriel, yes you did, but don't worry, you can catch the VOD. It was entertaining indeed. Sabriel with 1 more for Are You Afraid of the Dark, giving it 15. Megabyte, 1 for Shivers, gets up to 3. Alright, let's call. We'll do last call for gun buys. Is it pretending Materian, or is it actually a cheerful game? Yeah, Rufus. Alright, that'll be Gunsmith has fled town. You can no longer buy any guns. So we have 7 guns for Phantasmagoria 2, 22 guns for Once Upon a Forest, 7 guns for Darkseed 2, 15 for Are You Afraid of the Dark, and 3 for Shivers. Who will win to become game number 134? Let's find out. And the winner, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Well, I sure hope not, because it's going to be game number 134. The upset pulled off by Are You Afraid of the Dark. It beats down Forest and the other horror games. Congratulations, Rexadoodle. The Tale of Orpheus Curse, a ghostly adventure game, wins the showdown. Become game number 134 on the DOS Adventure Quest. So, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Game 134. And that was out of the viewer slot, so yes, indeed, BloodNet, which had been top of the viewer queue, now moves in. We'll take part in the next showdown. We're going to have another showdown with 4 horror games. No, Kaiv, I'm not done transferring to the new system. We have 2nd gen Journey on Streamlabs OBS, but not... Adventure Quest is a lot more work to set up, so I'm about maybe a third of the way there, but got a lot more ways to go yet before I'm fully on there. So, let me make sure I did that right. Yes. So all the BloodNet Snake dies. Look at that. Chin, Tomb of the Middle Kingdom from Miria, will now take the top spot in the viewer queue. All the other games in the viewer queue will move up a spot accordingly. There you have it. So those will be the there's your next showdown there with BloodNet now part of the fray. I don't think it's a real thing. Take a look quickly at the intro here. Are you afraid of the dark? Alright, and then let's also take a look at it. Orpheus Curse. Oh, was that the TV show? I'm sure it looks probably very similar to the game. It is based on the Nickelodeon TV series. Telling its mystery tale, the game features full motion videos and 3D animation, as well as actors from the actual TV series. From Viacom New Media. The amazing game options menu. The Orfeo and his amazing wax skeleton. The amazing Aldo, the world's most fantastic escape artist. Orpheus Palace Theater. Ooh, scary. A severed head. It was you who did it. Can't believe it. There's a claw man out to get me. All right, this definitely looks like it's going to be entertaining at least. Yeah, so I'm not familiar with the TV show at all, so it'll be interesting to see. I know nothing about it. So let me give you guys the link for time death guesses. For Are You Afraid of the Dark? Probably be starting this tomorrow night. Can't guarantee it, but probably. I did see a few no, not Goosebumps. What was the other one? Ghost Rider? I saw a few of those. That was that PBS show. I may have read one of the Goosebumps books. All right, so there you have the time link for time death guesses. A reminder, so I'm going to be, there'll be like a 3-4 minute break, and then the stream will be back online with second gen journey with game number 4 there, Solaris for the Atari 2600. We started that yesterday, so we'll be continuing that. So just a brief break just while I set up the stream. Shouldn't be more than 2 or 3 minutes though. So as always, thank you for everybody for watching. In the first degree, James Tobin was caught and convicted. Thanks again, Silo, for the pick. That was a pretty good FMV game, all things considered, I think. Congratulations to all the time and death guest winners. Congrats to Liquid Flood, wins the raffle, and Dare to Dream Part 1 has been added to the raffle queue. And finally, congrats to Rex and all the Nickelodeon fans. Are You Afraid of the Dark? The Tale of Orpheus Curse wins the showdown. Will be game number 134. Stay tuned in a few minutes for Solaris. Cheers, everybody.